So it was a budget bonanza for the middle class, and what exactly Nirmala Sitharaman did mention, she spoke about that the rate reduction is a first step towards new tax bill. And in fact, what exactly she had to say about the state versus centre finances in the budget, listen.
Will make people have more money in their hands. When people have money in their hands, they make their judgment about whether they want to spend it entirely or spend some out of it, and also make sure that they save something else, some amount from it. So I expect this would show both in terms of the consumption spending and also in terms of the savings, which can be through very many different instruments, but both will be influenced. But I wouldn't want to directly say this is the only way we are looking at growing up to 8%. These are steps which will have implications for the near term and the medium term future. So many other things also will have to simultaneously happen, which we are clearly indicating in the budget part A, through which I think India will open up so many more avenues for its growth trajectory. And those and their collaterals, or those and their secondary effects, will certainly ensure that we'll move towards it.
Yeah, just very broadly, in addition to the increased consumption, what are the other factors that are needed to reach the 8%? Just can you?
No, as I said, there will be a lot of secondary effects from those proposals in Part A, which will themselves trigger a path towards growth. And also I think the way in which we've looked at the customs tariff rationalization, import of essential goods coming down in tariff, are all indicators towards propelling greater growth.
Yeah, I mean, your revenue projections are pretty optimistic, and you are at the same time you are also sacrificing 1.3 lakh crore in personal tax exemption in this one. Where are those revenues going to come from? How optimistic are you that you will be able to meet those projections?
I thought I was accused of always being conservative in my estimates. And I've every time said our numbers are realistic because we do a lot of, prior to announcing in the budget the numbers, we do a lot of work and understand that we are definitely not exaggerating our targets. At the same time, we do not want to underestimate it, and for domain experts later on to say, oh, you've underestimated today, you're performing this much, it's not great. We've always shown realistic numbers. So that is where we have placed the numbers. I think for want of criticism, they seem to be picking up. I'm sorry to be so blunt. I've said this even last time when they alleged me of, you're announcing only for your allied partners. Andhra and Bihar are the only two you're naming. Nobody has had anything else coming. I think these are lame and lazy, quick way to look at the budget. Every state gets its share of all the central schemes, gets their due grants in aid, which are decided by the Finance Commission. Every state gets a part of the due for the expressways, the freight corridors, the railways, the airports, and some big ticket seaports, which are also getting built. Each year I don't announce them, but they are funded by us for over several years. Major port projects are never completed within 1 year. So those monies get stopped the next year, when I don't name them? No, it still goes to them. So it's all right. For them to have to comment something is fine, but I'd rather want them to go through the details of it and engage constructively.
Yeah. There's even an outlandish kind of a suggestion by some leaders in the South who have said that maybe they should produce more children so that they can get more, contributions from the state, because they are unfairly being targeted because their population is lower compared to the northern states. Is that a valid observation at all?
My response to that is, it is for the states to engage with the Finance Commission, express their concerns about the parameters based on which the tax devolution principles are laid down by each of the finance commissions. And if they think over a decade they've had a distinctly different paradigm happening there, it is for them to highlight to the Finance Commission.
Sure.
After all, Government of India takes the Finance Commission's recommendations, particularly on the core suggestions, and follows it. And to then voice concerns as though this Government of India has decided is not a healthy strategy.
So you would say that this suggestion that they should produce more children is a ridiculous way to get
No, I'm
more.
not even commenting on it, because whatever their point of view is, based on which they think the Finance Commission is coming up with allocations, it is for them to highlight to the Finance Commission,
Right.
whatever the principle be or whatever the factor be.
Ma'am, I have one more question about states, not to do with budget, but about Delhi. We have all been talking about freebies in elections, and BJP has always been opposed to freebies, but this is happening in Delhi that everyone is offering freebies. What is your view on how do you see this?
No, I strongly feel that states and states' capacity to take on such welfare measures will have to be studied before announcing any such. And I strongly believe such a homework is done by BJP-ruled states, and only then do they announce it, because you take the example of any number of states which were BJP-ruled, and while going to the elections, they have come up with solutions.